Hey everyone, my name is Rooster and welcome back to Mechabellum. In today's video, I want to highlight one of our biggest units in the game, as well as a pretty decent hacker counter, the War Factory. I'll be up against Tungdil, very strong player from the 301 region, and well, we have played plenty of games both on ladder and in the Serpentine Cup, which was played somewhat recently. Now, he will be going for Farseer spec here with the Sabertooth and Arclight opener, and having a look at my packs. Quick Supply Sledge here looks like we could go for it, and we actually do get it. It's very low on hit points, so it's something that I don't like doing, but I felt like I had to pick a pack here and there that I would tend not to go for, just to see how it plays out. And I mean, the nice thing about Quick Supply here is it does allow us to get into Quad Sledge, which should perform pretty well into Sabertooth, which, while it's tanky and it does one-shot sledgehammers, it doesn't have the fastest reload, so getting through the entire pack takes quite some time. We have crawlers to boot, so going sledge here is completely fine. We'll be able to chaff clear kind of fine here. I mean, there's only 2 crawlers on the enemy side, and we should have damage, I think, to be able to deal with the sabers. At least I hope so. Going to be pairing all of these sledges with their own crawler pack. The nice thing about doing this is they will kind of trickle through the sledgehammers, get pushed around, and well, fan out in a pretty nice manner, which will annoy the Arclights a little bit. And yeah, just going to be fully symmetrical here. Wanted to try and push into the opponent, although you can also play this in standard, of course, if you want to. That is perfectly fine. I know the camera angle is a bit different this time. Normally I record in the evenings, but I didn't really feel like closing my curtains here during the day. Just wanted to have the sunlight in, so yeah. If you don't watch me on Twitch during the day, then here I am with this camera angle instead. Sledgehammers here will lock onto the Arclights at the very least, but all of my chaff has already been dealt with. Maybe I should have put them slightly further back so the Arclights had a bit more of a chance of getting locked onto the sledgehammers before killing my crawlers, but we are kind of losing most of our units here. Sledgehammers eventually will prevail, but this split doesn't look too good. It's gonna mean that the Saber gets to go over, maybe kill 1 or 2 sledges. Yeah, make that 2 before we get the debuff, and well, it would have been real nice if all 4 here coordinated and then would have been able to deal with the debuff, but yeah, that's not gonna be the case, and the Saber actually clutches up the round and even takes a level there. That is not what you want to see. Round number 2, though, we do get unit reinforcements, and I have to be a bit careful about the air situation here, so going to pick up the Wasp. Tungdil does the same thing. Pretty logical move. And both of us seem to be putting it on the same side of the board. I am also going to unlock a Phoenix here because I really need to deal with this Sabertooth. I would expect my opponent to level it, and well, you can see me adapt here with a late crawler immediately. I will put a missile there as well because I haven't covered that flank, and it would have been possible for my opponent to play this aggressively, kind of trying to go for the debuff. He does run jump drive, so that would have been a possibility. Another Wasp pack picked up, and that will go symmetrically, so defending the flank and at the same time creating some air chaff that is going to be annoying for my Phoenixes to deal with. But it also means that there's no more ground chaff that will get in front of the Saber, so maybe, just maybe here, we can get an insta-lock. But yeah, have a look at that. Massive difference, right? If only the sledges went to the tower, then this wouldn't have leveled, and, well, I wouldn't have to deal with 31,000 hit points worth of Saber on the right side. Now, having a look at how this is going, though, we got that insta-lock, which I'm pretty happy with, and it seems like we will be able to get rid of that Sabertooth at last, and well, with that, seems like we're kind of doing fine. There's a lot of Wasps though, and it seems like my Wasp on the left didn't really manage to connect that well. So the Phoenixes are going to have a tall task in front of them, but they might just be able to get away with it. Now going to turn around, get rid of those units, even split up to grab that Tara debuff, and then finish off the Wasp as well. And with that, I managed to grab a level, which I'm quite happy with, as it will allow me to DPS down the Sabertooth even better, and I will need that because Nano Repair Kit has now showed up. And while I was pretty sure my opponent would go for it because It just adds so much more tankiness to an already pretty beefy blue Sabertooth. But hey, I've got the blue Phoenixes, so my DPS is really not something to laugh at. And I think I should still be able to take this down if I get a good lock. We are going to pick the advanced power system here instead, because we are at the end of the day playing aggressive, so being able to move into the tower should be nice. We pick up another Phoenix because of this Saber also leveled. And I'm just going to go for a Fang here in the front. I'm not really willing to invest a lot more into anti-Wasp units. And I just want to try and get into the middle here. If we can win the middle, then I should just be able to win it because of my overwhelming ground force. And that should allow my Phoenixes to get rid of the enemy Wasps. Left side this time around actually does much better. We had a level on the Sledgehammers. And yeah, this is looking like we should be able to finish things. Saber with the Nano will finally go down as all of my Phoenixes bundle their forces. And looks like we should get a pretty nice round in. Couple of Phoenixes here will fall though. Wasps with the level could be scary, but yeah, we will take a round and allow the Phoenixes perhaps to grab a level as well. Yep, there we go. Just about. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. And now round number 4, underground threat available. I might have to think about that one. Yeah, Tungdil does pick it up. I am vulnerable to it. So should think about that. Range on the arc lights here picked up very quickly for Tungdil. As, well, we are starting to get to a point where we need to think about our chaff clear a little bit. I am still kind of brute forcing things here with the Sledgehammers. And I will use my underground here defensively on the left. The right side should be fine. I have a missile and a crawler pack there. And, well, ever since the nerf, it's only 1.5 packs that spawn. So, should be enough, in theory, to be able to deal with all this. I could see myself buying another Wasp here on the right side. But buying Mustang here is completely fine too. It'll just kind of add to the okay-ish chaff clear capability of the Sledgehammer and get it to a point where it's, you know, just good. Not insane, but acceptable. And I'm pretty happy I did, because my opponent is investing into some of the Wasp levels. Not both, but one of them has leveled, so having a Mustang there should help. Sledgehammer levels are available. I think that's what I'm thinking about, but I'm going to go for the damage instead. Main reason there being that the Sabertooth still can one-shot level 2 Sledgehammers. Maybe that doesn't matter too much, though, because from the looks of things, we've managed to lock on every single time. And, yeah, some of the middle Sledgehammers have survived, because, after all, if they didn't, then they wouldn't have gotten levels. We are locked on here to the Saber, but not with both Phoenixes at the same time, so it takes a little bit longer to get through the pack. Left side, a Farseer has shown up that is from my opponent's Specialist, and it looks like my Mustangs weren't successful in taking down the Wasp. So, yeah, this round, we're not managing to get rid of those Sabertooth. Or, well, at least we'll get the one, but the other one lives, a lot of arc lights, and the Farseer, which deals deceptively large amounts of damage when it survives, going to put me down to 2.1k. Round number 5, Orbital Javelin shows up, always worth the consideration. Super strong spell, cheap, high impact, low cooldown. I mean, what else do you want? Mobilized Battleship here, I might have to think about as well, though. Scary, scary spell. And for now, my backline is open. But opponent will go for the intensive training instead, and here we have a hacker. Now, Tungdil is a known hacker enjoyer. We've played plenty of games, and in a lot of those games, he has ended up going hacker, although I also have ended up going sledge a lot, so I am kind of drawing it out of him, I guess. Range already picked up on the hackers, and one, yeah, level 2 now with the use of that intensive. And I am just going to be putting down some Mustangs here in the middle, so I haven't actually defended that Overload drop at all, I think. Would have been a disaster if the opponent did go for it, but they didn't, so pretty happy to see that. Sledgehammers will start getting hacked, which is rather annoying, especially on the left side. Those are quite tanky, and my Mustangs don't have the DPS to be able to take them down swiftly. My Phoenixes, though, that's a different story. We'll be able to get rid of the Sabertooth. This time around, we added the Mustang in the middle to help with the Fang chaff clear. and we should be able to get through. We'll even grab the tower debuff first, as the right side also prevailed, but meaning in the meantime, left side, we have those wasps attacking my tower, and that should yield a debuff as well. Luckily, though, we managed to get rid of the enemy Arclight and the hacker in time, so nothing else will get hacked. And it does look like we'll be able to pick up another round. Now, as soon as I see hacker here, I am thinking, okay, I will need to go probably for the War Factory. And something I didn't mention is I have spaced these sledgehammers 7 squares apart. Now, I like to do this also because I run damage sharing and field maintenance, and having 7 squares means that you can add a sledge in between these with 1 square between the other packs, and that will still create the link if you decide to click it. The other benefit is it allows you to fit Titans if you want to. And that is kind of what we're setting up for here. The War Factory tends to pair quite nicely with things like sledgehammers, very well with things like Phoenixes and Mustang because it doesn't have upshoot, and then it just provides everything else you need. The tank units, the DPS, and importantly, if a sledgehammer does end up getting hacked, the Factory is the Titan that doesn't mind this too much. It's got 4 independent guns, it deals plenty of damage, so it'll just like one-shot the sledgehammer that got hacked, and then you can just move on with your day. Because an annoying thing about hackers and boards that are bad into them is that you get completely thrown off, right? Your units get stuck shooting one of your hacked units for a long time, they get distracted, and then in the meantime something else gets hacked, and yeah, you just kind of snowball out of control. But Factory does a pretty good job at stopping that, and on top of that, it's pretty hard to hack, right? One of the biggest units in the game, lots of hit points, so hard for the hackers to get through. Now, already this round, opponent here loaning temp range went for the barriers on the hackers, as my anti-shield is not the best. Well, in the middle it is, but on the outsides it certainly isn't. And this is looking kind of scary. Left side here, trying to get through. I did add another Phoenix because I knew that I needed some DPS. But I'm setting up here for, going for Factory next round. Hopefully, though, there will be a next round because, man, oh man, that is a lot of damage right now. Hopefully, I can at least take out the Saber. I will be able to. But the debuff comes through, the Farseer survives, and while my opponent doesn't really have much in the way of anti-air, that one Farseer is going to be enough. And am I even going to lose a shield? Looks like I will, just about. That's a bit unfortunate, but yeah, gonna take a lot of damage there with 5 hackers alive, plus Farseer, sending me down to 600 hit points. Woof. Little bit scary. And round number 7, yeah, we were due some unit reinforcements. I was aware that this was a thing, so I think I saved a little bit of money. Just gonna go for the Raiden there, sell it for 600, and then we can finally purchase our Factory. Now, opponent here goes for the Fortress and transitions the Saber item onto the Fortress and goes for anti-air. Now, he kind of baits himself, I guess, or we have baited him into this line. By having the Phoenixes on the board. And it's a fine play, right? I mean, I'm close to dying, so if you get rid of my Phoenixes, then there goes my shield break, there goes my DPS, and I do actually end up ranging these because I wanted them to stay safe. So it's a good play from that perspective, but Fortress is not very good at all into Factory, never mind if you've got 2. So you've got one in the middle here to kind of try and support these packs of units, one on the left, backed up by the Phoenixes. And yeah, I'm gonna go for Launcher Overload first. The reason I don't go range is because I didn't expect my opponent to really, preempt this play. It's a pretty hard guess that you have to make. You would have to pick the Melter there, and it doesn't make sense into any of my board at the moment. So I didn't think that this could die. And if I don't think it can die, then I also don't need to protect it that well. So I could just go for pure DPS, not mind about the range, and we can worry about the range next turn. When, well, I would expect there to be a counter. And so here we go. You can see the hackers are locked on to the Factory, but yeah, the hacking is just a little bit too slow to be able to hack something that has 168,000 hit points. And by the looks of things, we're just going to be able to keep these guys as we move into the right side. Mind you, here, I wasn't loaning. No low, no temp range, no temp speed. I am saving my money. because I didn't really feel like I needed it. There was no point in loaning. I couldn't really afford anything with it. Maybe temp range and temp speed, though, would have been useful, but I just really didn't think my opponent would be able to deal with this play. And so now, round number 8, I mean, we have a lot less resources, 1,200, but you can see my opponent sitting at 1,300 with those loans. Not too far off, even though we had to pay for the double upkeep. Nothing I can really use here. Mobilized Battleship, though, comes back. I kind of have to respect that. Opponent isn't going to go for it. Instead wants a Mustang production line. But I will have to protect against the Overload drop this time because I am on death's door, and if I lose a tower here, it's over. For sure. So we're going to be moving our Phoenixes backwards with a mobile beacon. We're going to use our underground threat as well in our backline. And I'm going to grab a level here on the factory because double the tankiness, double the damage should allow us to get into, well, the enemy units much more easily and also get rid of the big guys. Opponent here with additional deployment slot, which was picked up earlier, goes for quad Mustang with range. I was a little bit surprised about this because, well, I can see the reasoning. I actually have a fair bit of crawlers, and what I'm going to go for this round is loose formation crawler because my opponent was relying only on arc light so far, and so the opponent does kind of read into that. The downside of doing this is I don't really see how he's going to kill my war factories, right? So a big part of why I went to loose formation here is I simply wasn't expecting this play. It makes some sense because, of course, this is a threat. But at the same time, I'm not too sure that this fixes the factory problem. And so the crawlers here will kind of struggle because my opponent has the proper counter to it. But at the same time, I'm really not too sure this is going to get hacked, sitting at 340k hit points. Right side is struggling. I mean, it doesn't have its own factory, but left side here doing mighty fine. Shields also annoying the hackers a lot. For those of you that don't know, hackers deal a third of their attack value whenever they have to deal actual damage, so against things like shields or the tower. And, well, yeah, that means that they do take quite a while to take them down. Tower here almost will fall, but not quite, even if it did. Those low-level hackers wouldn't have been able to do anything, and well, with 2 factories left alive, that actually will be enough to close out the game. So yeah, a good setup here, leaving those spaces. I definitely don't do this all the time. I don't play around Titans quite enough, I think, but I was happy that I left the spaces this time around because it allowed for a pretty nice comp. And whenever you play sledges, War Factory can pair quite nicely, especially with those Mustangs and early Phoenixes. And it's just a perfect thing against things like hackers. Allows you to kill the hacked units quickly, and then on top of that, just a massive ball of stats. Hard to hack, and yeah, the fortresses couldn't compete. Anyway, if you liked this video, please leave a thumbs up. Let me know down below what you think of the factory, what you think of this game. If you want to see me play live, please do check me out on Twitch. And if you want to stay up to date with my latest content, please consider subscribing. With that being said, take care, guys, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.